hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, or if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Thank you so much for turning up, you big dogs, you. Today, very happy to announce the release of the Bushka on Blitz Discord server. So I've got a public section there. We're going to be doing some fun things with that, and I've got all the patrons in there. So if you are a patron, you will get a specific patron role there and a patron-only section of the Discord server. But for all of those who've been yelling and screaming for a while now, and I've had plenty of feedback on it, that there was no Discord server for the public part of the Bushka community, well, there you go. And the link for the Discord server is in the description below. This is the Type 59, and this is Mr. Ouija, one of the finest humans to ever come out of Mildura. What a wonderful, wonderful human being he is, the big Azza. He's in the Type 59, which is quite topical at the moment, as it just recently went on sale from the Blitz store. And it's a hell of a vehicle. It's actually... it's pretty bloody strong, and it always has been. It's my second or third highest win rate tank ever. I think it was topped out at just over 100 games with a 86% win rate, which was pretty strong. And, I mean, realistically, that wouldn't happen now, because I'm not that good anymore. I don't play too much. You know, I'm just joking. I just got no excuses. It wouldn't happen now because I'm not good enough. But the thing I love about this tank is it's like an old style type T-54 mode of gameplay without the pen and without the mad DPM. But it does have, at tier 8, a superb armor profile. And it's also got just enough gun depression to actually get across the line in terms of using the strong turret armor that it's got. It's got 7 degrees of gun depression. Now, it's a typically Chinese, Russian knockoff tank. It has the 100mm gun that all those tanks have, like we're talking about tanks like the T-34 and 2, the T-44, the T-54 Mod 1, the T-44 100. I mean, this is where it's at. This is the 100mm gun you get on those tanks, and it works. And it's actually pretty interesting that in this game specifically, you see why this tank can be so incredibly difficult to take down. Given that it is the top tier tank, you run into a situation where there are an awful lot of tanks that are going to struggle to pen the turret of this tank. And that's why I say it's got that T-54 playstyle, because the T-54, when it was same tiered with other tanks, was quite capable of performing like a frontline heavy. And you give the Type 59 the right situation, and it will absolutely tick those boxes. And that situation is very much hull down, angled up to about 30 degrees, as Ouija is here, and trying to keep that upper glacis in an auto bounce zone. Now, it's not as strong armor-wise compared to the rest of its tier as a 54 was, but that's good, because that would have been a ridiculously overpowered tank. As it is, this is still a very, very strong tank indeed, and Ouija is putting it through its paces like a monster. I really enjoyed the fact that he left a poor old Chrysler, who was side-scraping like a boss, all on his own, went around the other side, turned up behind him and said, you know, side-scrape this, buddy. And it went predictably well. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to have it all his own way. As he has been rolling forward here, the rest of the team has been struggling. And the Lurva, for some reason, has decided to just ignore the Indian and start turn fighting the Type 59, which is, I mean, yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. I think he doesn't have a lot of faith in the Indians' ability to pen him, which is so far been borne out pretty well. Ouija's going to manage to work through the rest of the Lurva's hit point pool here. It's going to cost him nothing at all, really, just a little bit of time, and now he's going to work back towards these last 3 tanks. Now, he has one other tank with him. That is an IS series, the Tier 7 Russian Heavy, but I would suggest that he is not long for this world. And Azza's already at 3,859 damage. Here he goes, looking for that big shot in the side. Great angling, great work there. Really nice move late game to leverage the hit point pool of, well, let's be honest, a Tier 7 Heavy that wouldn't really be able to stick a lot of DPM in there. into a really lovely situation where he gets a chance to clear some high DPM tanks like an STA-1 and a Tiger P. And that's pretty important. The IS does a good job here, not to be forgotten. The IS does do a good job. Yamasu. I had a lot of people, have had a lot of people over the course of the channel ask me if the XYZ is a good tank. Very few people ask me if the Type 59 is a good tank. I think the word is absolutely well and truly out that this tank, I think it's better than the T44 in the tech tree. I think it's very nearly as good as the T54 Mod 1, which is a phenomenally strong tank, especially in situations like this. It's way more mobile than the 54, although the 54 just has an absolute crap load of armor. But if you get the angles right on the 59, you can get it doing all kinds of nasty things and bouncing so many shots. I mean, this is over 5k damage caused and nearly 1500 damage blocked as a medium tank, and that's a lot of work. It's an awful lot of work. You got the spotting badge, 1613 XP. I mean, that is all of the business. So let's roll on and have a look at another one of the longtime friends of the channel, iraikkonen from the North American server in the IS-8. Now, this is a tank that you will find people who can actually play a little bit will really enjoy this vehicle. And guys that are new to the game find the IS-8 to be particularly puzzling and a tough nut to crack. The reason being that it's a tank that really likes to run with the foxes and hunt with the hounds. It's a heavy that is fast enough to get out with other medium tanks, and then at a pinch has enough hit points and firepower to get on the front line and actually hold for a little bit. And that's exactly what Reich does here. He role plays a heavy tank and caps an absolute flogging from a tier 9 Moistchen, I think it is, or Mousechin, or it's a mouse. Tier 9, and it's not as good as a mouse, but that's what we're going to call it. One of the things the IS-8 has going for it is it's got crazy side armor. I've bounced the side armor of this thing so many times. It's as awkward as a 15-year-old asking a girl out for the first time, or a boy out for the first time, whichever the case may be. And it's one of those things where it gets bounces it absolutely does not deserve, and you've got no idea why it works sometimes, but it does work. It's also... It's a very tough tank to drive when you're underneath the gun of another tank. By that, I mean, it doesn't have great gun depression, so that means you get shots off all the time, but with only 5 degrees, you can't really elevate it and use gun depression. So what you're looking to do is use the speed. And that means you take a shot, you wait, and you move backwards and forwards very, very quickly. You bait shots, and you use what armor you have, which is a reasonable amount. It's not a large amount of armor, but it is enough like that to actually bait shots out, pull back, occasionally get a bounce. This is a rough spot. Reich doesn't have a lot of choice here. He is the designated heavy, the designated hitter on this right-hand side of the flank, the north end of the map. If he moves back and pops here, this Moistchen is going to roll right down the gullet and do whatever he wants. And at the end of the day, at some point, he has to clear this tank. The problem is that as soon as he gets overlooked and there's no one behind shooting this tank, what happens then is his armor flattens out, because the IS-8 is a classical pike-nosed Russian tank, like the IS-3 before it. It really relies very much on getting its armor pointing directly at the enemy and having that lower glacis hidden, which is great when you're in the same level like this. Unfortunately, it's not so good when they're able to get above you and flatten out that pike and lower the effective armor. So he gets around here and you can see RCC74 of the Grim clan. Geez, that is a long ago clan. That's where Scumbag Juju came from originally. Running around here in the E75. Now this is a very, very different kettle of fish. The E75, obviously a monstrously good side scraper, a very, very open field angle friendly tank, but there are only so many angles you can take when there's 3 guys fighting you. So it's 2 on 3, and Reich only has 126 hit points. This looks rough, and he's doing a good job here of actually using the lurver in front of him as a tactical fire break and just spamming HE at this Foch as it comes up the... this is great. The Lerva's doing a really good job of angling, but, I mean, you can only angle for so long. And there's that 5 degrees of gun depression causing merry hell with Raikkonen's life. That is not where you want to be. But Raik's, and overall, look at this, spots the move well before that Pershing had ever got there. Angles up, side scrapes down, starts the turn for the RU, gets that pike right in front of him, and because he's put the pike right in front of him, he is tough to pin. HE shell into the RU-251, and just when it looked like everything was falling apart at the seams, and that Foch is very, very keen to hit Raikkonen. Oh, tracks, not as good as a pen, but not bad at this late stage, and the Foch is really struggling with that angle on the Lerva. Sticks him again. Come on, Raik. Oh, thank you, mother, for the rabbits. That's a quick turnaround, wasn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, Raik got screwed there a little bit, but still 5,225 52 damage. 5 kills, mastery badge, Top Gun, all those good things, and a very good run too. I'd like to give an honourable mention to his platoon mate there, who held versus a colossal amount of tanks in the E75. I'm Bushka. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Really hope you enjoy it. All the videos to come. We've got streams this week. We've got new Discord servers. It's all happening. Look after yourselves and stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.